IAG is Australia and New Zealand's largest general insurance company. We have operations in India, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, as well as, of course, Australia and New Zealand. We employ about 15,000 people. We write about $12 billion of insurance premium, and our market capitalisation is currently about $13 billion. We're an organisation that has some iconic brands like NRMA Insurance, CGU, WFI. Through IMA, we share in the RACV brand. We've been in operation here in this country for 165 years. We have a workforce that has remarkably long tenure, and our organisation is absolutely built around our purpose, and our purpose is to make your world a safer place. So we began using the Leadership Circle just over 5 years ago within CGU, and we needed a tool that was going to help us understand our own personal motivations and the things that really made us tick, and a way in which we could actually open ourselves up to be a little bit more vulnerable. We felt that if we were to be a truly collaborative and inclusive leadership team, we needed to understand each other, ourselves, and then how we might behave and impact others as we came together as a team. I found the tool just incredibly helpful over the years, and progressively we've introduced more and more parts of IAG to the tool, to the extent now I'm guessing there must be thousands of our colleagues who have gone through the assessment and have engaged in programs that have helped tease out the learnings. And I think one of the reasons that I was such an early convert is there was an amazing piece of self-learning, which I found actually quite confronting. So what was happening is, we were a business that was going through quite a lot of turmoil as we were trying to turn the operating performance around, and there were challenges arising every day. And every time a challenge arose, I would just be calm, and I'd be dealing with it, and I'd calm everybody else down. Then I had people on the other side of the table who were saying, the guy can't be for real. He's got to be feeling a degree of anxiety, and he's masking it. And if he's masking that, what else is he masking? And so there was me overplaying what I thought was a strength, and it was actually pulling back my integrity score. The piece of work that I focused on with my coach, and I involved all of my team in it, was around being more declarative. So there were times when I would sit down and I would say very openly and clearly, I'm actually quite concerned about this for the following reasons, but we don't have time to dwell on fear or what, but I'd at least share how I was feeling about it, and then we'd park that and we'd move on and we'd address it. So that's a very small example, deeply personal, but one that I was very grateful for, because actually that's how it played out in my personal life as well. And I think that's what we've seen, that the Leadership Circle has not only benefited us as leaders and the organisation as a whole, it's benefited us as people in our lives outside of the company as well. Just an incredibly valuable tool and supporting process. So by going through this process together as a team, we were able to support one another. We could clearly understand each other's vulnerabilities. And I think it's like Sun Tzu said, the quickest way to disarm your enemy is to hand him your sword. And it's not to suggest that anyone was anyone's enemy, but actually, when you actually ask people for help, they're so willing to contribute. Actually, people feel privileged being able to help in a scenario like that. And so having our most senior leaders be prepared to share their stories with not just their colleagues, but also their direct reports, right? It introduced a level of vulnerability. It gave vulnerability a place in the organisation, which is actually strengthened the platform on which we were trying to drive the leadership change, the cultural change that we needed to see in our organisation. So the ripple effects were enormous. When I arrived at the organisation, the cohort that reported to my leadership team had been through the Leadership Circle, but my team hadn't. And actually there was no plans to. And what I understood early in the piece is that these direct reports of my direct reports had a language and a way of thinking that was different. And they were feeling disconnected from their leaders because they couldn't share. And so we had to actually accelerate my leadership team through the process so we could reconnect with their direct reports. It was a wonderful period of regenerative growth within the organisation. And I think in terms of the very specific business impacts, I think that allows you as an individual and certainly you as a team to get to the heart of matters more quickly. You can expose things faster. You've got this common language, this common framework, and it's all supportive. So there's no politicking. There's no making sure that somebody's going to be okay if I raise an issue that might otherwise be a little bit offensive or intrusive, or you're just able to cut through things so much faster. And being able to say, you know what, I don't know. And that's okay, because someone else will, right? You can actually avert a lot of missteps, but you can cut to the chase, to the right answer so much faster. And if that was the only benefit, I'll tell you there are so many more, but if that was the only benefit, any organisation going through change, any organisation going through disruption, any organisation trying to become more nimble, more flexible, more agile, more responsive to changing customer needs, I couldn't encourage you more than to do the Leadership Circle.